So what's up, YouTube? How's it going? So have you guys heard that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to be portraying John Henry in an upcoming Netflix movie? Now, to be real, I had never heard of John Henry before this whole situation even happened. To be real, am I the only one? Let me know in the comment section. But I feel like, did I miss something? Because I never heard of this dude. But yeah, this dude, John Henry, this man is um, a large, dark-skinned, muscular black man. And I'm not sure if this guy actually existed in real life or not. They say that this story is from like folklore. But I think they do have statues of him somewhere in his likeness. Anywho, yeah, enough of the backstory. Let me get into the real story here. All right, so some folks are upset about this because, as we know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, while he is a big muscular man, he's not dark-skinned. All right, and some people, some black women, brown-skinned, dark-skinned black women, and also, some brown-skinned, dark-skinned black men feel a certain way about this. But, what I say to that is, ain't God good? Ain't God good, y'all? I tell you, it's like, I think, God just gave the brown skin and dark skinned black women, the smart ones, an early Christmas gift, an early Christmas present for you guys. And I have been seeing you guys in the comment section on YouTube and different comment sections just enjoying the moment. And I have no problem with that. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy. You deserve it. As well, the brown-skinned, dark-skinned men deserve it too. Before I get into this video, though, really get into this video, I got to give some disclaimers. I got to give some disclaimers because I think I may end up having to go in. I think I may end up having to give a sermon, so I apologize for the length of this video in advance. I apologize in advance for the length of this video. I'm not quite sure where it's going to end up, but I'm sure you can see by the timestamp where it's going to end up. I'll say, first, I don't have anything against Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. No really problem or beef with him or anything like that. He seems like, he has a good spirit about him. Seems like a pretty decent guy. I don't, think he's like a bad guy or anything like that. And I will say that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, The Rock, probably wasn't the best choice for this picture. But then again, but Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the executive producer of this Netflix movie, so you know, you know how that goes. Also, I don't think that light-skinned, mixed, biracial, or racially ambiguous black identified men or women should be the primary face of black people. I will put that out there. I have never advocated for that in any of the videos that I've posted. I think that brown-skinned and dark-skinned people, both the men and the women, deserve to be the face of black people and should be the face of black people. Like the primary face of black people. Also, to the brown-skinned and dark-skinned men in particular. I'll go on record, as I have before. I don't have any animosity, any hate in my heart, you know, any beef with brown-skinned and dark-skinned men, generally speaking. All right? You know, brown-skinned and dark-skinned men, both online and offline in my day-to-day life, have been, you know, cool ass people. All right, cool as fuck. All right, and have shown me love, and you know, never tried to, like, you know, disparage me in any type of way, or say any, address me in some sort of a pejorative, you know, things like that. You know, although I'll say, like, you know, there have been incidences online and offline of, you know, that happening, but you know, I contribute those as like just isolated incidences. I don't, you know, think of those as just like, I don't hold it against the collective brown skin and dark skinned men. I just hold it against them specifically. Even still, it's just like, whatever, you know, just go on with your life. Which I think a lot of light-skinned, mixed and biracial dudes end up doing when like dark-skinned dudes kind of come for them. Just, yeah, whatever. Just go on with your life, you know? All right, so let's get into it. And I got my talking points ready because I don't want to miss a thing. All right. To start, to the brown-skinned and dark-skinned black women, every single colorism battle or fight is not yours. Like, you got to be careful about that. You got to make sure you are picking and choosing your battles wisely, especially when people aren't jumping and reacting the same way when you're under attack, when you file colorism complaints. Where? You know, not even being shady. I'm not even trying to be shady. Where? Where do you see black men, whether online or offline? Where do you see them? Like, heck, like online, I can't even think of many black men who specifically deal and talk about colorism issues that affect brown skin, dark skin black women. Not really. Like, okay, you got me and Angel Ramirez Jordan. Okay, we giving you two, and those dudes are light skinned. You know, those are light skinned dudes. But I'll give you that. You know, some folks will call us half breeds. All right, so put us together, you got one black man. All right. But you know, where are the black men who even sporadically talk about colorism? Like, you know, on occasions here and there. I'm not sure. They could be out there. I just maybe haven't ran across them, but you get what I'm saying. You get where I'm going at, or where I'm going to. You get what I'm saying. All right. Same thing that happened with that whole Khloe Kardashian situation with her kid, right? Y'all had to make sure y'all have to choose your battles, because again, when that all blows over, Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson ain't gonna be giving a damn about black women's issues, especially brown skin and dark skin black women's issues. And low key, that's what's gonna happen here, right? You going so hard in the paint for these dudes, but when this all blows over, are they really gonna return the favor? Do you think they're really gonna return the favor to you? I don't think so. You know, call me a hater, but I don't think so. In fact, I think low-key they feel entitled to it. They feel entitled to, you know, you going hard in the paint for them. Even though sometimes they be with the non-black women, and even, you know, the light, bright, damn near white black women who don't go hard in the paint for them. They don't put that requirement. Like, they don't expect that from them, right? Yeah. And as well, let them get these light, bright, damn near white, you know, black identified women. racially ambiguous, black identified women to do this. Like, where are they at? Where the hell they're? Because the videos that I'm seeing are coming from brown-skinned women, primarily. I think a brown-skinned man has done one so far too. As well, the think pieces, the articles, probably, most likely, are coming from majority brown-skinned and dark-skinned women. All right? So, please, 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 don't let yourself get played yet again. Like, don't let these dudes pimp you the fuck out again. Right? Better yet, let these dudes fight their own battles. Let these brown-skinned, dark-skinned, Wakanda warrior kings fight their own battles for one time. Better yet, have them fight your battles for one time. Let me see. I'm still waiting to see that. Let me see that happen. And also, I meant to put this out here earlier in the video, but do dark-skinned and brown-skinned men even care? Do they even care about this? Because a lot of them will be coming in the comment section like, oh, I don't care. This ain't no big deal. We got bigger issues to worry about. This, that, and the third. Right? So if you don't care, if these Negroes don't care, why are you caring for them? Especially when people do not do the same for you and your problems, right? Even when you do care about a problem and bring it to them, to their attention, a lot of times it just gets swept under the rug, overlooked, downplayed, you getting gaslighted, etc., etc., etc. And this is coming from your direct male counterpart, by the way. Not trying to be shady, not trying to stir up shit. I'm just telling it like it is. We got to be straight up with this. Not gonna understand you being a little community minded, because I think a lot of times when folks come on YouTube, especially the brown skin, dark skinned women, they tend to be community minded because they probably didn't have overall majority positive experiences with the black community and black men. So they kind of like, hey, we just in this together, let's chop it up, let's work together here. But then when you really get into the fucked upness of it all, you really start to see what's up. You really start to see what it really is about. Heck, even low-key, I was kind of like that. I was low-key more community minded until I saw that the community, as far as within the context of colorism, the black community ain't shit. All right, keeping it real, and as well, slowly discovering that the community ain't here for you. It ain't here for you like you think it is, But yeah, also, don't let them guilt or shame you or use fear tactics to get to you either. Because that's something that I could see happening. Whereas like they're guilting you and shaming you and like using fear tactics like, oh, it's gonna happen we're all gonna get erased. Even though they weren't concerned about that when it was happening to you. The media erasure was happening to you, right? Were there a ton of black men making videos about Tiana, Princess Tiana from Disney, Alexandra Shipp playing Storm, Halle Berry playing Storm, Zoe Saldana playing Nina Simone, Amanda Steinberg playing a dark-skinned woman in like an upcoming movie or a movie that's out now. I think it's like The Hate You Give. Where was that? If it was some folks talking about it and there were black men, especially brown-skinned, dark-skinned black men, let me know. Like, I know that I personally made a couple of videos calling out Amanda Steinberg. I made a video about that when she popped off about, you know, the Black Panther shit, acting like she could actually have gotten a role in it and acting like she gave up a role for the dark-skinned black women. I made a video about that. I made a video about Princess Tiana. I made a video about, you know, Serena Williams, and it's not to pat myself on the back or anything and act like I'm just so high in mind. I'm just saying, all right, I'm just saying. You know, I'm just saying, where's the outcry, right? You see, this is a strong outcry, right? When brown-skinned, dark-skinned men are under attack, it's a strong battle cry. Because it comes from the men and the women. It comes from both. It comes from the community even. But when it's black women, especially brown-skinned and dark-skinned black women, you tend not to hear such a strong battle cry for some reason. And I think on some level, even, you know, consciously, like subconsciously or even consciously, I think they want to see black women, brown-skinned, dark-skinned black women replaced. Some, not all, but some do. They do participate in that. And, you know, the ones that don't want to see it, they do need to speak up. I'll put that out there. And now all of a sudden, like, we know the look of a black man, right? That was mentioned too. Like, we know how a black man is supposed to look, but when it comes to a black woman, anybody can be a black woman. They let anybody be a black woman. Notice that, anybody. Then it's up for interpretation for so much, you know, up for so much interpretation. You know, then it's like, you know, you're the seed of your father. The black gene is dominant. We're all black. You're being divisive. You're being jealous. You're being bitter. But you notice when black men, brown-skinned and dark-skinned black men, are trying to mark their territory and trying to, you know, fight for their identity and to be the face, the main face of black men, you notice that doesn't come up. And you notice either black women support them in it, or either they just stay silent and just say, hey, let the men deal with it. You notice the black women never really tend to stir it up in favor of the light-skinned biracial men. Typically not, right? Because I think she's smart enough to know that her identity is connected to that brown-skinned, dark-skinned man. But the brown-skinned, dark-skinned men don't see it that way when it comes to the women, though. They don't see it that way. Because they low-key have opened the door for this to happen. Right? Let's be real. They have. When you let foolishness come in, open the door to foolishness, or certain types of foolishness that, oh, it's okay, it's all right, you know, because it's not affecting you, and you feeling like you benefiting from it because you get to be with a light, bright, damn near white mixed woman because you got issues with your own skin tone, because you got issues with the way that you look and the way that you're treated in society. And you want to fix your inner issues with a bad bitch, a bad light-skinned mixed damn near white bitch. So, you know, you just feel like you're worthy. You know, this woman has, you know, given you her stamp of approval. So now you're worthy just to, you know, to live and to exist as a brown-skinned, dark-skinned man. All right. Again, some, not all. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Yeah. Now, also, something that I also noticed in here, there is some low-key gender role confusion going on, especially in situations like this, in the black community in general, but especially in situations like this, right? The women are going hard, the brown-skinned, dark-skinned women going hard in the pain, defending their man, trying to uplift their man, put them on a pedestal, talking about how beautiful and fine they look. But I'm like, isn't it really supposed to be kind of like the other way around? Or at the very least, like a reciprocation of some sort? You know, like some of these brown-skinned, dark-skinned dudes just want to be the best-looking nigga in the room. That's all they concerned with, just being the best-looking nigga in the room. You know, fuck building, you know, fuck, you know, trying to be good dads, trying to be good providers, trying to create a legacy to pass off to your kids in the black community. Nah, just want to be the best looking nigga in the room. That's all. They ain't really concerned about, actual patriarchy and man stuff there. They're just concerned about, that feminist shit about being the best looking nigga in the room. And, being seen as the best looking nigga in the room by the women. That's it. Yeah. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but notice, it's like, when it affects a dark-skinned, brown-skinned black man, notice that it becomes a problem. Notice that it becomes an issue all of a sudden. You women, the brown-skinned, dark-skinned women, black women, you guys have been filing colorism complaints for a while. But notice, these complaints get ignored usually. It doesn't really seem to become an issue till it affects black men, specifically brown-skinned, dark-skinned black men. That's when it becomes an issue. That's when it's like all hands on deck all of a sudden. And again, also, I put it out there. Do they even care about this particular issue that's happening with Dwanye "The Rock" Johnson portraying John Henry? Do they even care? Because some of them will say that they don't. So again, if they don't care, why are you caring? Like, if you don't care, then I'm not going to care for you. Who does that usually? Usually, if it's like your child, and that's because it's your kid. But these niggas ain't your kids. That's another thing too. Folks want to talk about and post videos about the emasculation of black men, and they have some points in it, but I feel like this is low-key part of the emasculation of black men, especially brown-skinned, dark-skinned black men. This is a part of it. And then when these men become so emasculated and so coddled to the point they can't offer you anything but dick and disease. That's all they're going to give you. And then you want to be mad, right? Then you want to be mad. Then you want to be angry, and bitter about it, Even though low-key you kind of played into it. You may not have realized what you were doing. That is true, but low-key you played a part in it. You do have to recognize and acknowledge and admit to the role that you played in it. No shade, just keeping it real. Also, there have been some instances where brown-skinned and dark-skinned men have actually taken on acting roles that were meant for light-skinned, mixed, and biracial men. That happens. That actually tends to happen a bit more than this situation that we're in when it comes to the men, right? Chad Boswick playing Thurgood Marshall. Thankfully, that movie flopped. Nate Parker playing Nat Turner, who I didn't even know was actually a light-skinned man. I didn't even know that, because I always seen him portrayed as a brown-skinned, dark-skinned man. I didn't even know that. But within the documents, like, historical documents, he was described as being light in skin tone. Not mulatto, they mentioned. Not mulatto, but light in skin tone. Also, Denzel Washington playing Malcolm X. I think Denzel Washington also played a mixed man in the movie Carbon Copy. And Morgan Freeman is going to be playing and portraying Colin Powell in an upcoming movie. Hopefully it flops too. Notice, when all that happened, where was the outcry? Where was the same outcry in favor of light-skinned, mixed, and biracial men? Where was this outcry at? Let me know. I made a video about it. A few people probably did make videos about it. I made a video about Chad Boswick and being Thurgood Marshall, and I made a video about Colin Powell being, Morgan Freeman being Colin Powell. But other than that, where is the outcry? That's what I'm saying here. Low-key, the light-skinned mixed dudes are not coddled nearly as much as the brown-skinned, dark-skinned men. And I think, honestly, I think it tends to end up making us better people, low-key. You know, because low-key, you know, light-skinned biracial men are resilient, low-key, and we're not given credit for that resilience. I actually made a video about that. But yeah, we're not really given credit for that resilience that we have, where we do kind of catch things, you know, and folks don't come to our defense as nearly as much, right? Heck, like we're the light, bright, damn near white women, you know, where our own female counterparts coming to our defense. You know, she might be more apt to come to the dark-skinned men and brown-skinned men's defense than us. You know? But hey, you know, I guess that's the dude that's putting her on a pedestal and acting like she the best thing in the world, even though she looking like a balled-up gum wrapper. A light-skinned, balled-up gum wrapper. But these dudes will uplift her over like the hot-looking, you know, Amara Negras of the world, or the Kelly Rowlands. So as long as she light-skinned, it is. You know, but yeah, light-skinned men are resilient, low-key. Low-key, they're not as fragile as you would think they would be, and sometimes have even been stereotyped as being. Low-key, the brown-skinned, dark-skinned dudes are probably the more fragile ones. They just tend to mask it. You know, they stay on code and they mask it very well. You know, but you know, notice you don't see light-skinned, mixed and biracial dudes lashing out at brown-skinned and dark-skinned men. Usually, when someone's lashing out, when it comes to the men, usually it's the dark-skinned, brown-skinned men coming for the light-skinned, biracial mixed dudes, who a lot of times just be minding their own business, just existing and living while beige. That's it. That's their only crime. Also, when it comes to the women, light-skinned, biracial, and mixed men, by and large, do not disparage black women, especially brown-skinned, dark-skinned black women, at the same rate as the dark-skinned and brown-skinned dudes do, right? Usually when you hear something, you know, just some foul shit about about dark-skinned women coming from somebody, a lot of times it's coming from their direct counterpart. You know? And as well, we don't even lash out at the biracial, mixed, and light-skinned women who openly just lust after these dark-skinned dudes like they the best thing ever, the best thing walking. Even then, just keep it moving. You know, just honestly, it just becomes so normalized and just so standard. A lot of them, like a lot of us ain't even fazed by it anymore. It's just expected. You just expect it, you know, and you keep it moving, you know. What's meant for you is meant for you, by the way. You know, nobody can take away what's meant for you. So if this person is meant for you, can't nobody take that person away, you know, except for God. You know, and as well, most important, we don't lash out at ourselves, you know. We don't feel the need to darken our skin. You know, when have you ever heard of that? Honestly, like, you know, even with the bias, like, there ain't no light skin mixed dude giving up the beige golden skin tone. No, no. You know, the light skin mixed dudes, you know, low key help maintain the balance in the community. You know, if you were to remove it, sometimes I think it's easy to write off light-skinned, biracial, and mixed dudes and just write them off and be like, hey, you know, we don't really need you in the community, you know. But think about it. If it was just the brown-skinned, dark-skinned men, the light, bright, damn near white women, the racial ambiguous ones, and the brown-skinned, dark-skinned women, how do you think that would end up? And think about it. How do you think that would end up? You know, I honestly see the problem getting worse, the colorism problem getting worse, not better. Now, I will say, if you were to remove both the light skin and both the light skin mixed and biracial males and females, I wonder how that would end up. You know, how would that end up? I'm interested to see that too. You know, because some people could say, hey, it could end up working out really well, and some people say it could end up not working out because the folks would just end up dating outside the community more. I don't know. I just want to put that out there, though. You know? But I do have a bit of a suggestion for you guys who may be a little upset about The Rock, particularly the brown-skinned, dark-skinned men who are a little upset about The Rock playing John Henry. Well, we could just darken up The Rock's skin, right? He's light-skinned, so it's easy to darken up his skin. So we can just darken up his skin and maybe even like put a prosthetic nose on him, you know? Kind of like widen his nose a little bit more, you know, maybe even give him like kind of like an afro textured wig to wear or something. That could help too. So it'll still be like a dark-skinned man being portrayed on the screen when you look at him, right? Problem solved, right? You know. Also, another thing that I've noticed, people you know, dark-skinned, brown-skinned black men, but also dark-skinned and brown-skinned black women have been making suggestions as like, you know, better actors for the role, right? They've been naming like, you know, Terry Crews, you know, Michael Jai White, Winston Duke, you know, who played M'Baku on the Black Panther, or in the Black Panther. And Mike Coulter, who played Luke Cage, right? You know, like they've been making few suggestions, and also a suggestion like Michael Clark Duncan, or could have been a good fit for this role, but he's deceased. All right, so you know, and he would have been. That would have been a good choice, you know, for a couple of reasons. But I'll get into that a little bit later. But notice the choices that men and women are suggesting, right? But particularly, I'm focusing on the women who are making these suggestions of these men, right? Notice that none of these men that you're suggesting to play the role of John Henry, notice that none of them have brown skin, dark skin, unracially ambiguous black wives or girlfriends. Notice that many of them don't even have black wives or girlfriends, period. Winston Duke, Eurasian woman. Mike Coulter, white woman. Michael Jai White is with a probably a light-skinned, possibly mixed-looking woman. You know, and Terry Crews is with a very racially ambiguous, black-identified woman. And I'm just putting it out there. You recommending all these dudes, as particularly as brown-skinned, dark-skinned black women, you making all these recommendations, the ones that are making them, but none of these dudes are even with women that look like you. So, like, you still end up losing. You know, and then next month you're gonna be writing about how, you know, black male actors don't seem to be interested in brown skin, dark skinned black women. You know, like on the Black Panther, there was think pieces about that, I think. So you got to be real careful about who you are trying to push to the forefront here, who you trying to, again, uplift, because you may be uplifting some low-key fuck niggas. Keep it real. You may be uplifting some low-key fuck niggas that don't want to have a thing to do with you unless you lighter than a paper bag, or even just non-black even. Keeping it real. That's how a lot of these dudes be operating. You know. Also, let's say if, you know, they did change up the acting role, right? And gave the acting role to like a Duke Winston, a Michael Jai White, a Mike Coulter, a Terry Crews, right? Let's say if there was a role for the wife, right? And we may not, I don't know if this is, possible or not, but let's say if there was a role for the wife of John Henry. And let's say that they cast the wife as a light, bright, damn near white, racially ambiguous woman. Pretty much the female equivalent of like The Rock, right? Do you think that there would be as strong of an outcry if that happened, right? It'd just be some brown-skinned, dark-skinned women raising a fuss, and that's it. No one would give a fuck. You will be shamed, and they will try to shame you and guilt you for giving a fuck and gaslight you. But you going hard in the paint for these dudes. Trying, like, yeah, get these dudes. Like, but, hey, if that's not an issue for you, and that truly isn't an issue for you, then okay. But for many of them, they will be pushing these dudes and, like, going hard in the paint for these dudes, but then the next month, or the next week, you trashing these dudes talking about black men interracially dating too much. And you supporting these niggas who interracially dating don't want to fuck with you. They don't want to fuck with you. Why? Probably because they got some type of some issues, some type of, like, I don't know, self-hate issues or something. I don't know. But again, that's something to really be cognizant of. Who you are recommending here. Because who you need to be recommending should be a brown-skinned, dark-skinned man who is with a brown-skinned, dark-skinned black woman. That, like Michael Clark Duncan, would have been a good pick for that. Because he was with a brown-skinned, dark-skinned black woman. Omarosa. They were married. And he fit the bill for it too. So that really would have been a good recommendation that would have satisfied all things, all right? But unfortunately, he ain't here. And his successor doesn't seem to be here either. So, yeah. Also, I want to put out there that I believe that Terry Crews is actually going to be playing John Henry in an upcoming movie adaptation of like the John Henry story. I believe he actually is, from what I heard. I've been Googling. I heard it in the comments section, but then I Googled it to make sure. And yeah, like him and Ludacris are going to be starring in like this John Henry movie together. Yeah, the thing is, this news had broke like in May, I believe. Probably didn't make any news, or much news. But notice, like, The Rock, that's the thing too. Like, I think part of the reason why they going are, The Rock is pushing for they're pushing The Rock for this low key is because, The Rock, he gets to the money. The Rock gets to the money when it comes to this stuff. And I'm wondering about what's The Rock's payday when it comes to this. I know he's like executive producing, but I wonder what his pay rate is, though, for this project versus the pay rate for Terry Crews and Ludacris, their pay rate. Right? And also, shout out to Terry Crews. I'm happy that he's been given, like, a serious role to show his acting chops, right? But also, like, some people have brought up, like, well, y'all was just bashing Terry Crews some months ago for coming forward about, being, like, sexually assaulted or something like that, right? Y'all were, like, bashing him and calling him all types of samples, coons, homosexual, all that stuff, right? But now you want him to represent you in the movie, though. I'm just saying. See how folks just be flipping and flopping. People so fickle. People really are. People are really so fickle. I've even noticed that on my channel. One minute, some folks are just like, yeah. Next minute, they coming at me, insulting me, calling me all types of names. because I said like one thing they ain't agree with. But also, I want to touch on something else. Brown skin and dark skinned men, you know. And again, I gave my disclaimer in the beginning. If it don't apply to you, let it fly. I ain't coming for you, but I'm coming for the ones that it does apply to, all right? I noticed that some of these brown skin and dark skinned men are just straight up clinging to that media promotion and that media image for dear life. Notice that. Because low-key, it's kind of like all they got. And I ain't trying to be shady, but it really just actually have a video about this low-key kind of coming up at one point or another. But it tends to boil down to like athleticism, the music, the swag, and BBC. That's all, you know, it tends to boil down to one of those things. Or all of them. At least one of them, though. When it comes to the brown skin, dark skinned men, and kind of like their worth within society. Right? Notice that. That's something that I think that is something that some brown skin and dark skinned black men do low key kind of pick up on even. Because you notice, low key, society don't really fuck with black people. Especially black men, but even more especially brown skin, dark skinned black men. Like, the darker you are, the less they fucking with you. Like, if you ain't running the ball, if you ain't dribbling the ball, if you ain't rapping, you know, if you ain't doing something, some type of creative swag of some sort, have some sort of creative swag of some sort, or if you ain't got a BBC, they ain't really fucking with you like that. Alright? Notice that. The NFL made it pretty clear where their interests and concerns lie. It ain't with they black players. Alright? Society in general has made it very clear where their interests lie. It ain't with black men, especially brown skinned, dark skinned black men. When they're getting shot down in the streets from police brutality, like worse than animals, worse than dogs even. Animals don't even get treated like that. If people were shooting down animals in the streets, there would be an outcry. Look at what happened with that Michael Vick situation and the outcry. Like, oh no, you can't do that to dogs and exploit them and hurt them like that. Where was that same outcry for black men who are victims of police brutality? Besides the black community. But in society, where was that outcry? Let me know. You know? So again, you see them clinging on to the media promotion because, you know, and as well, like the media promotion, you know, the media image, and even black women, you know, low-key kind of feel some type of way when black women ain't supporting them, you know, even though black women tend to support them. But I'll put it like this. Dark-skinned, brown-skinned black men ain't comfortable. Low-key, as quiet as it's kept, they ain't comfortable with having their brown-skinned and dark-skinned female counterparts lusting after light, bright, damn near white, black-identified men like The Rock or Vin Diesel. Heck, even like Drake and Chris Brown even. Although I think Chris Brown may or may not get a pass at times. Notice that. You know, like, I did a video about that, actually. I think maybe 1 or 2 videos about that, actually, where I talked about low-key, black women are shamed for that. You know, notice that the brown-skinned, dark-skinned men aren't, but the brown-skinned, dark-skinned black women are shamed when they, have some little interest in like a light bright, a light bright dude, and there were women in the comments section sounding off, saying, "Yeah, that has happened to me." There's actually a video of a woman, a brown-skinned woman, whose boyfriend is a mixed man, is talking about the incident that happened with her. and how some black dude came at her sideways because she was with like a light-skinned mixed dude. Like, the light-skinned biracial mixed dudes don't really do that when it comes to, like, you know, um, the light-skinned biracial females. They just end up moving on and living their damn beige golden life. You know, because at the end of the day, that ain't really stopping anything. Not as a collective, at least. Even on an individual level, that I don't even think that's really stopping anything. And like these dudes, they cling on to this image of this promotion and stuff, right? Even in the comments section of one of my videos, I had a dude who's been subscribed to me for a minute, a dark-skinned dude. You know, no shade. I ain't trying to shade the dude. You know, I ain't got nothing against him. You know, we cool. We ain't got no beef. But I noticed that he had said in the comment section about, like, oh yeah, like these like Dominican women are like this, are like lusting after dark-skinned black men in his area, right? And I was like, oh, low-key getting hyped about it because he's like, low-key, they're leaving their men for us. Right? Right. That's how he's low-key. That's where his mentality is at, low-key, and getting hyped about it. And even mentioned something about Love and Hip Hop, and how, like, on Love and Hip Hop you see a lot of, like, I guess, like, light skin, like Caribbean Hispanic women with like brown skin and dark skinned men on it, and also Cardi B and Offset too. You know, but I just find that really interesting. Making that comparison, and wanting to be like, we're preferred, right? We're the best of the best, right? Always just like low key competition. When really, the video that what I spoke on didn't even come at it like that. Wasn't even about like no competition. It was about what I feel like some light-skinned men do, who they feel like sometimes they have to perfect their light-skinnedness because perhaps they weren't born with like quote-unquote good hair, quote-unquote light-colored eyes, or have like the look that is associated with like, a light-skinned dude, And then we got on this topic for some reason. And then this dude, no shade, I ain't trying to come for you. But homie, dude, he also posted a link to a video on my channel, and asked me to respond to it. And in the video, it was this YouTuber talking about basically comparing light-skinned men and dark-skinned men, and giving light-skinned men the short end of the comparison, right? And I am familiar with this YouTube user. I am. I don't really I know of him, I'll say that. I know of him, right? I've seen him comment and post on occasions before. Not on my videos, but on other folks' videos. And he, I guess, identifies as like being in between light skin and dark skin. Guess playing the fence, the colorism fence or something. But yeah, I noticed, and he wanted me to watch that video and comment on it. And low-key, I did watch it, and I did comment on it, but I ended up deleting my comments. I was like, nah, I don't want to get into this, like, beef, right? This, like, YouTube beef. I ain't really here for that. I ain't trying to beef with nobody, especially no black folks on YouTube. Like, no, I ain't really trying to get into that. I mean, I'll respond if you come for me, perhaps, maybe, But even then, I don't think I need to be entertaining that, But, I want to put the question out there to the brown-skinned, dark-skinned men. Where are these women these non-black women and You know, even the light brights, the light bright beige, racially ambiguous black identified women, where are they at when, you know, you're going through things? Where are they at to speak on your plight as a black man, and even as like a brown skinned, dark skinned black man? Anything, like, where are they? The thing is, they don't really care about you like that. Come on, they ain't really down for you like that. Some of these women will not even take you home to meet their parents. All right. Some of these women make sure not to have your kids because they don't want their kids looking like you. All right. Low key, they make sure to keep you a secret even from their friends. All right. And I know, you know, she probably, you know, you just like, hey, she letting me hit. So, all right. But, you know, after a while, especially if you have some self-respect, you're going to be feeling some type of a way. You know. You know, but on the same token, you guys are just probably happy that you got picked. Right? Please pick me. Yeah, she picked me. Low key, they some pick me's. These brown skin, dark skin dudes, some pick me's, and a lot of times they have no problem playing the garbage man. Right? I can say one thing about the brown skin, dark skin women: they ain't gonna be caught with meth head Billy. They ain't gonna be caught seen with meth head Billy. Right? If they're gonna go outside the community, they're gonna make sure they get, like, you know, hedge fund manager William. You know, they're gonna make it worth their while, right? They're gonna go for the top tier. You know, the brown skin, dark skin men especially, they know they can't go for the top tier white women or the top tier non-black women. They know that they're just not there. Like they don't have access to them. They can't. So they go for the bottom. It's easy to be a bottom feeder. It's easy to be a garbage man. It's easy to dumpster dive. You know, no competition or very little competition, right? These dudes are not, you know, quote unquote competitive. Only time they're low key competitive is either when it's with black women. You know, I don't know why they're competing with women. You know, low key feminine trait, feminine ways. You know, or when they're competing with light skinned, mixed, and biracial men, usually in a rigged game. The game is rigged, all right, in their favor by black women. So they tend to win the game. But even when they win the game, they still feeling empty inside. It still ain't satisfying them. Before I go, I do want to read some comments, a few comments, just a couple of comments that really kind of stuck out to me. That were posted by, one comment was posted by a young dark-skinned black man on the video that Chrissy did about John Henry and The Rock and the changing face of black male masculinity. All right. And his comment that he posted, let me read it because I think it's needed here. So he posts, as a dark-skinned young man in his mid-20s, I fully understand the frustrations many black women have towards black men. Colorism is a disgusting disease that plagues our community and further distances us from each other. Black men, some, play a huge role in this by denouncing black women and uplifting everything and everyone that isn't black. They fail to realize that these women they are putting down are the same hue as many of their mothers. Think about it. Shaking my head. The struggle of being dark-skinned varies between men and women, but as a man, it sucks as well. All my life, I felt shunned and treated less than. I constantly was made fun of and reminded of my dark skin. In fact, or the fact that I already had to deal with racism, people from my own community made it worse, making it seem like my dark skin was a curse. Until a few years ago, me and my friend began having deep conversations about the challenges we both faced being dark-skinned growing up. She's been a real shoulder to lean on because most black men don't speak on this topic. It's like it's taboo, and I don't know why. It's because they're staying on code. No, I'll get into that a little bit. Black women, however, have always been there for me when I needed a shoulder to lean on. Always. The men in our community never do the same, and it truly saddens me. As for the situation with The Rock, it doesn't surprise me. Hollywood has been trying to lighten, quote unquote, lighten our image for years, and now they're attempting with black men. I love your videos, Chrissy. Keep up the good work. Wishing you well. Right? And that was a mouthful. He said a lot in that. Right? And that's something that I pick up on, something that I do pick up on, and that I have picked up on both online and offline in my day-to-day life. You know, about how some dark-skinned, brown-skinned black men feel about their own blackness, though they'll never admit it. Usually you won't get this type of honesty from them because colorism thrives covertly. It survives and thrives covertly, not overtly, right? And also because they're staying on code, and because, you know, just as men, you don't want to be like seen as weak and vulnerable, you know, just in general. So you're not going to really get this, like, you know, every single day. Heck, you know, Glock 9 ain't the only dark-skinned dude out here that don't want no dark-skinned kids. All right? Kodak Black ain't the only black dude out here that don't want no bitch as black as him. Lil Wayne ain't the only one out here that's saying she look better red. He ain't the only one. They ain't the only ones now. They're just the ones that are just being upfront about it. You know? And like I said, I've noticed this and picked up on this for a while. All right, and a lot of people have. A lot of people do. It's like, you know, it's like at this point, it's like, you know, nigga, we see you. You know, keep it 100. Cry if you need to, nigga. Cry if you need to, my nigga. But be honest and be real about what's really going on. Because it ain't a good look for you out here. Another comment that I want to read. It's from a woman, actually. It's from she's like a light skin or a safe brown skin woman. And she posted something really interesting that I want to share with you guys. All right. She posted, I teach high school, and what I've noticed is that boys' behavior is not that much different from grown men's behavior. One thing that makes boys behave different than men is their lack of sophistication. Boys don't know how to filter their words to avoid revealing unflattering things about themselves. Men do. Men do a lot of pretending not to feel a certain way. Therefore, they pretend not to care when they do. Dark-skinned men try to act like they are the shit when they are very insecure. They try to believe that white women love them when deep down inside, they know it's just a fetish. I hear comments from dark-skinned high school boys such as, quote unquote, oh, you like him because he's light-skinned, referring to a female who shows interest in a light-skinned man, or a light-skinned boy in this case. I've spoken on that too. See that low-key shaming tactic right there. It's usually obvious to me that the dark-skinned boy just wanted to call out the light-skinned boy's skin color because he was a little jealous, right? Probably jealous of the attention that he was getting, and he felt it made him feel a certain type of way about himself because he doesn't look like that boy, so he feels like she would dismiss him because he doesn't look like him, even though that's not necessarily true. I've overheard dark-skinned boys in conversations about themselves showing envy of light-skinned boys with straighter hair, like a less textured hair, right? Once I've heard a dark-skinned boy tease a light-skinned boy about his haircut. The light-skinned boy's hair was cut in the same mohawk style that many of the boys are now wearing. His cut was no different, but his hair was looser curls. Any adult listening would have known that the tone was jealousy. The dark-skinned boy had the same haircut himself. He had a full head of healthy 4C hair. That may be some sort of thing there, I don't know. Light-skinned boys do not appear to be necessarily jealous of dark-skinned boys, but they seem to try very hard to please them. They want to fit in with them, and they even try to emulate them. I suppose one could argue that that's jealousy too, but watching it play out, it comes across more like admiration for many of the same characteristics that the whole world admires and hates at the same time dark-skinned men for. Athleticism, swag, bullshit. You know, very much true, right? And as I've spoken about before, when it comes to colorism, it affects dark-skinned people's self-esteem and feeling of self-worth, and it affects light-skinned people's sense of identity, right? Tragic mulatto, right? Where did that term come from? Right? That's where it came from. So you see, like, low-key, the dark-skinned dudes are lashing out at the dark-skinned dudes are lashing out at the light-skinned dudes because of the self-esteem issue that goes on, right? Sometimes when people have low self-esteem, they kind of feel a need to sort of like project and attack, and sometimes, not all the time, right? Sometimes their targets are other black girls who look like them, have their same phenotype as well, right? Also, she had mentioned the light-skinned boys, the light-skinned dudes. That identity issue, right? Kind of feeling the need to sort of fit in with them because, that's the group, And I think low-key it kind of works that way with the light-skinned females and the dark-skinned females too. And as well, like in my personal life, I've had a few hint nudges from a few dark-skinned dudes about like feeling like they kind of have a bit of a rough struggle or rough road because of being dark-skinned, because those guys are like dark-skinned, like they were really dark-skinned. Like one dude who was my supervisor, like we worked together like 10 years ago, back when I had attended my first college. We had worked together in like the IT department, right? Great guy, he no shadiness, no issues or anything like that. We chopped it up from time to time. On occasions we kind of chopped it up a couple of times about kind of colorism things, and he had mentioned like, oh, sometimes when I go into restaurants, like these like old white women are acting like they, seen a monster when they look at me, or like, like acting like, oh, like acting like, they've seen like the boogeyman or something. He also mentioned that he wound up like, I think when he was younger, he was thinner, but he wound up like working out and getting buff, which I think low-key is him trying to fit into that, that dark-skinned masculine male stereotype, right? And he was, ain't got no problem with him. He was cool. We never had any issues. We respected each other. There wasn't any drama between us or anything. He was cool, and ain't got nothing but love for him. I think he may have maybe grew up in maybe like perhaps the 80s or maybe early 90s. I think he was a little older than me, so maybe he had grown up during the whole light skin is in thing, like where fashion trends and some shit. Yeah. But he kind of said like I guess like the girls in his community or school or whatever were kind of like into the light skinned dudes, Which I said, like, where I'm from, it seemed like the girls were into the dark-skinned dudes, to be honest. And then there was this other situation that happened where he was having a conversation with a colleague, a white colleague, by the way. And they had wind up getting on the topic of like a party or a function that they were at, and that some folks had taken some pictures, right? And he was like, "Oh man," and then he said like, "I know I'm gonna be looking like a gorilla." I was like, "Did he really say that? Really?" I was like, that really shocked me. Like, really? Yeah. Although he did say he would never interracially date, except maybe like J-Lo. Just putting it out there. So, as far as like the skin tone of woman, black woman, I don't know. I can't say for sure. I don't know. Um, yeah. Also, from Florida, so I don't know what Florida is doing to these dark-skinned dudes down there. No shade, but I don't know what they're doing to you guys. I also know a female who said that these guys, she's a black female in Miami, saying these black dudes are on some, like, as far as dating them, no. she wound up having to date Latino dudes. Although she is with ended up with a black man, but she let him know up front that she been dating Latinos because these black dudes down here ain't up to par. All right, and guess what? That nigga rose to the occasion, and now they're engaged and going to be getting married soon. Just a little FYI out there to the women out there. Maybe you should perhaps position yourself as a surprise and let these dudes rise to the occasion instead of just throwing the game to them, just giving the game to them all the time. Just a little hint, just a little tip for you guys, free of charge. You ain't even got to pay for that. As well, I had a couple of other dark-skinned dudes kind of hint, nudge, about that. I'm trying to get lighter, beautiful dark skin tone, Like honestly, I do believe that like really dark skin is like really beautiful, like really mesmerizing. Like, just looking at it for like, like, I don't know. Especially if it's like well moisturized, then this really is like captivating. And then another dude who I worked with for a while was kind of had that like low key like Charlemagne DJ Envy relationship a little bit, where he was like saying like light skinned dude jokes a little bit. But he has said like, oh, I wish I was a light skin. I wish I was light skinned. Which, kind of said in like a joking way, But, there is truth in jest. All right. But the thing is, like, the dude, like, he had like the look, when the women, like, he had some women, trying to holler. As well, and which is strange. Like, yeah, the women trying to holler shit at him, right? Good looking, dark skinned brother, the ones that, the women would probably, go crazy and, flood their panties over, right? And he has even done some like modeling and print work and acting work too, right? And also, I believe he's part Cuban, dark skinned but part Cuban. I can kind of see it in his hair texture, because I noticed that his hair texture wasn't 4C, which I would expect from like a darker skinned man, but it wasn't. It was more like my hair texture actually. Like, oh, because he had mentioned that he was part Cuban. I was like, are you really part Cuban? And like, yeah, okay. Like, oh, I didn't know that. But I'll say that the girlfriend that he was with, she was like a brown skin woman. She was brown skin, lighter than him, but dark enough to know that she black. We ain't, squinting our eyes, wondering here and there if it's true, like what she is. All right, and as well, the other dude, he is seemingly interested in like the brown skinned women too. All right. So it seemed like I don't think I'm not sure, but they might not have been on the light bright damn near white train. All right. One more comment I want to read before I end this. I know it's been long. I know. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I had to go in. I had to deliver the sermon today, y'all. Craig. So a comment that I want to read. You know, from a dark-skinned man. The comment really kind of struck me. It's not too long, so I'll go through it. When you understand mixed sister struggles with society, it's kind of comparable of dark-skinned brother struggle. That us against the world thing gets easier when you with someone you don't have to explain your struggle to. And that kind of struck me because I never really seen or heard like a dark-skinned man really put it like that. But perhaps it's like it's not a fetish. Maybe he can empathize with her, and maybe she can empathize with him, right? And he did say that he was open to, sisters of all skin tones, but he feels like the ones that are interested in him tends to be the lighter skinned ones. So yeah, I think that's the end of the video, you guys. I'm sorry. I know this video was long. I know. I apologize. I had to deliver the sermon, y'all. But thank you very much if you got to the end of this video. In fact, if you got to the end of this video, please, in the comment section, of course, leave me your opinions because I'm definitely interested. But also, in the comment section, if you got to the end of this video, please let me know by posting the following phrase. If you seek Henry. Again, if you got to the end of this video, please post the following comment. If you seek Henry in the comment section below. Thank you. Thank you very much. Until the next video, you guys. Adios and goodbye for now. But before I go, I'm sorry, y'all. Before I go, though, I didn't even want to... I wanted to take a break for a minute, but when this happened, I was like, damn it, man. I wanted to ignore this. I wanted to, but I just couldn't. I couldn't ignore this, right? And honestly, I have been even contemplating just, abandoning and stop, making and doing colorism videos just in general. I have, but I was just like, I don't think I can't do it today. I can't do it, today I can't do it. I think I have a little bit more work left to do before, before I call it quits, who knows, right? Because sometimes the deeper you go with this, it just gets more and more fucked up. Yeah. And it's just like, damn, why do we do this to each other? Why do we treat each other like this? Like, oof, but, yeah. I just wanted to be real with you for a minute, In fact, I even had thoughts of, being like, can I go back to sleep, quote unquote, when it comes to colorism? Can I go back to sleep? I know that's a fucked up thing to say. I know that's gross. Because you're supposed to be going forward. You ain't supposed to be going backwards. And going to sleep ain't gonna help, but, just being real. Alright? But, let me know. And, I go on, not so much for myself, honestly. If it was just for me, and just light-skinned dudes in general, and the mixed and biracial ones, we manage. I know we got colorism complaints, but we manage at the end of the day. But I go on for, the darker skinned folks, especially the darker skinned, brown skin, dark skinned women. Because it's needed and as well, it's really appreciated. I appreciate the feedback that you guys give. I appreciate that you appreciate it. But at the end of the day, who knows where it's all going to end up? Who knows? You know, only God can tell. Only God knows. And if it's God's will, so shall it be. If it's not, so shall it won't. But again, thank you so much for watching this video. And again, if you made it to the end of this video, in the comment section, please let me know by posting the phrase, "If you seek Henry." Thank you very much. Have a good day. Adios and goodbye for now.